first one is the flattening the curve. And I don't know if you remember at the start of the COVID, everybody keeps talking about flattening the curve. The masking, there were no vaccinations yet at that time. I was inspired a little bit from my emotional state. Leviathan is essentially a dragon in Jewish mythology. It's this gigantic thing that is so huge, it's kind of oppressive in some sense. And so that's when I started to move from aluminum to brass, a little heavier and thicker. You and me, because we still needed each other even in isolation. And then aspiration, while I was teaching, our students were also undergoing their troubles, and they were asking me about career fit and everything like that. And it inspired me to think about their aspirations. And that's why it's curvy. There's no such thing as a one direct path. It has to move around. And in that sense, at the end, we still have to balance everything. And then the two dancers I have there that was included, fortunately for the Arabesque, was Mikhail Bereshnikov and Martha Graham. For Mikhail, I love him because to me he's an illusionist. He makes flight possible in the imagery of his jumps. Where Martha Graham is an innovator, she had to move away from classical dance to modern dance, and she has influenced dance quite a bit. And so I'd like to give her a tribute to that. I'd just like to end with two thoughts I hope to share. Because you could just read my description here as well as my biography. But in addition, I'd like to just 2 points. One is that in doing the pieces, I actually learned that I kept on searching for equilibrium. Because again, this was done in COVID, everything was shaking up. I'd like to find, it's not peace, it's not even peace. It's just, let's just have a few pauses of equilibrium. And when you get it, of course these pieces are all glued with wax, but they actually should be able to stand on their own without the wax. If you try to do that process of balancing, you would experience a challenge of finding that equilibrium. And once you find that equilibrium, the next stage is actually the permanency, because they could fall anytime. And in fact, Faith has tried a lot of these pieces, and she would make it stand, and the next day she would peek and see if it's still standing. There's a joy to see that it's still standing, but also an acceptance that it could fall. So both equilibria and temporality is a nice lesson that I learned during COVID, and I wanted to express through these sculptures. But also, the second thought, if you just give me a few more minutes, I'd like to share this because I found it quite interesting. And it's useful not only for artists, but for us as human beings living this life. And it's informed me a lot more because of all the things that have happened to me and my wife, Faith. We had a lot of health problems and accidents and things like that, and showing us how life is fragile. But in spite of that, there's a lot of challenges that we have to go living after that. So I'd like to quote this from Wikipedia. So you can get this quote from Wikipedia as well. It was a quote that Agnes de Mille gave about Martha Graham, one of the statues here. So let me begin the quote. I hope I can read it well with my glasses here, the wrong glasses here. Okay, quote, "The greatest thing Martha Graham ever said to me was in 1943 after the opening of Oklahoma, when I suddenly had unexpected, flamboyant success for the work I thought was only fairly good, after years of neglect for work I thought was fine. I was bewildered and worried that my entire scale of values was untrustworthy. I talked to Martha. I remember the conversation well. It was in a chef's restaurant over the soda. I confessed that I had a burning desire to be excellent, but no faith that I could be. Martha said to me very quietly, there's a vitality, a life force, an energy, a quickening that is translated through you into action, and because there's only one of you in all of time, this expression is unique, and if you block it, it will never exist through any other medium, and it will be lost. The world will not have it. It is not your business to determine how good it is, nor how valuable, nor how it compares with other expressions. It is your business to keep it yours, clearly and directly, to keep the channel open. You do not have to believe in yourself or your work. You have to keep yourself open and aware to urges that motivate you. Keep the channel open. No artist is pleased. There is no satisfaction whatever at any time. There is only a queer, divine dissatisfaction, a blessed unrest that keeps us marching and makes us more alive than the others. That was a quote of Mark Twain. Of course, I said it more emphatically, but can you imagine doing this in a whispering tone? I thought it was an amazing way of looking at art. But also, I'd like to encourage people to go to Wikipedia and get that quote, because that's also how I think we should live life. Be open to whatever events come to us and live it to the fullest. Okay. Well, thank you for your attention. I hope I didn't take too much.
Maybe somebody has questions.
Oh,
Clement, you wanna? Does anybody have a question? That's my professorial voice. Nobody wants to be on the record as a question. All right, well, I guess since our hosts are busy keeping the chicken from getting too crispy, I'll just take over and say thanks everybody for coming. And I know that both Clement and Tom said they'd be open to questions, so please approach them. Thank you.
Thanks,